In this video, we're diving into the tragic story of Briana Rouselang, a young girl whose life was filled with promise, but was cut short in the most devastating way. The police are back at the restaurant again. They had looked all over this area before and thought they had seen everything there was to see. Now they are looking at the dumpster. A 17-year-old girl hasn't been seen since December 2018. Briana Rouselang was last seen just feet from her house, and now the cops have the difficult job of finding her. They were sorry that all of their hard work up to this point had led them to this, the skip. Because of this, one agent acts right away. He creeps up on the container and pops the lid open. Before we continue, I want to know, where are you watching from today? Whether you're in the US, across the globe, or somewhere in between, drop it in the comments below. It's always great to see how far these stories travel, and if you're finding this case as fascinating as I do, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. Now, let's dive back into the story. The 5th of November, 2001, saw the birth of Briana Rouselang in Mishawaka, Indiana. When she was 5, someone taught her how to play baseball, and the rest is history. In fact, Briana was so interested in sports that she wanted to study athletic training in college, but baseball was always her true love. Briana, who was 17, was a junior at Mishawaka High School at the time of the case. She had been a cheerleader as a freshman and sophomore and was in charge of the school's football and softball teams. It's clear that this girl was busy, but she was also passionate, driven, and devoted. Briana grew up in a Christian home, and Christmas was her favorite holiday. She spent most of her time with her family and friends when she wasn't at school or an event. She didn't like to take it easy, though, so she spent a lot of her free time helping out with neighborhood events, festivals, and other things. Briana had no idea how to stop. It was said that Briana was driven, active, and worked hard. And she was just a great person to be around because she was nice and friendly. If anyone in the community needed something done, they knew they could count on Briana. Even though she was only 17, she was a real asset to the community. The most recent event she worked on was the sports banquet at Mishawaka High School. She was in charge of making plans and sending out messages. Not only that, but she was waiting for the newest batch of letter mailers to arrive on that terrible December afternoon in 2018. Sad to say, she would never even get those invitations, let alone mail them. The reason for this is that Briana disappeared that very afternoon. In the evening of December 8, 2018, Briana went up to her mom, Melissa, and told her she needed to take a short break. It was about 10:30 at night, and Briana had her phone with her. Her mother saw her daughter, Briana, leave the house, but she had no idea that it would be the last time she would see her. Melissa went to bed because it was getting late. She thought her daughter would be back in a few minutes, but Melissa woke up all of a sudden around 1 a.m., just past midnight. She went to Briana's room to check on her and was shocked when she saw her. The room was empty when she got there. She thought Briana would be asleep under the covers. Briana never got back to her house. Melissa was filled with fear and worry at that moment, and she had a terrible, strange feeling that something wasn't right. Melissa was so scared that she turned the house upside down, but her daughter wasn't there. She was scared and called Briana's friends to see if they had seen her. They hadn't, though. Melissa finally woke everyone up in the house, and early in the morning on December 9th, the police were called. Briana Rouselang, who is 17 years old, was officially reported missing. At first, the police weren't too worried about Briana's disappearance. They thought Briana was acting rebellious, so they thought she might have chosen to spend the night somewhere else. This is what the cops usually do when they are looking for teens who have gone missing. Every time a teen goes missing, the cops play it down and say the person ran away. They then lie to the family and say they need to wait 24 hours. We've all heard it a million times. However, Melissa then dropped a huge piece of news that made the police pay attention to her daughter's disappearance case. Briana, who was 17, was pregnant, which was a twist in the story. You heard that, right? It was very scary for everyone when Briana went missing because she was 6 months pregnant. Was Briana maybe having a problem? Was she in need of medical help? Where could she be at this awful time of night? Also, who was the dad of the baby? As it turned out, Melissa did give the cops a name when they asked her that question. It was Aaron Cho, Brianna's 16-year-old boyfriend. Their relationship isn't what you think it is, though. It was more of a secret that Briana and Aaron were dating. It wasn't until recently that Briana told her mom she was pregnant because she couldn't keep it a secret any longer. Who was this Aaron guy? Wait a minute, we'll get back to this. Because the police had to know why and where Briana went so late at night before they could figure this out. This is when the detectives learned about another fact. That night, Briana left home to meet up with Aaron, her boyfriend. The police thought this was strange for many reasons. At first, the time didn't make sense. Why did two teens feel the need to talk about something so important late at night? And why couldn't they just call each other and talk it out? Second, the place Aaron offered for the meeting raised a lot of red flags for the detectives and anyone else who heard about it. It seems a little strange to meet behind the family house. On the other hand, Aaron texted Briana that they should meet in a tunnel behind Briana's house that was dark and far away. There was no way that the cops could see things going well, so they called Aaron right away to find out where Briana was and make sure she was safe. The cops had a lot of doubts about this Aaron guy, but nothing could have prepared them for what they were about to find. At very early hours on December 9, 2018, Aaron Trejo, who is 16 years old, was quickly taken to the police station to be questioned. For clear reasons, they wanted to talk to him about why Briana had just disappeared. He hadn't done anything wrong, and that's when the police learned that Melissa called Briana's friends for help when she woke up at 1 a.m. and couldn't find her pregnant daughter in the house. Well, Aaron was one of the guys Melissa called. Melanie knew that Briana was going to meet Aaron, so she called him first on her list of people to call. However, what Aaron said to Melissa made things even less clear to her. Aaron told Melissa that he was home, and he did ask Briana to meet him, but she never did. Aaron said he waited outside of Briana's house for a long time, but when he saw that she wasn't coming, he left to go home. Aaron also said that he texted and called Briana several times, but she never answered. Is Aaron telling the truth when he says that he was a little annoyed? Second, Briana wouldn't pick up the phone to let him know she wasn't coming. First, she didn't show up. I mean, I'd be a little upset too. When the cops first asked Aaron about Briana's disappearance, he pretty much told them the same thing Melissa did. He texted her to meet up, but she never showed up. He waited, called, and texted Briana several times and then went home. That's why the cops were lost. In any case, the police went to the exact spot where Briana was meant to be. You could start there or somewhere else. They went to the dark alley behind her house. It wasn't hard for the police to figure out that something bad had happened when they got there. You can see that Briana had on glasses and a hat when she left the house to meet Aaron. The glasses and hat were found almost right away. And the most disturbing thing about them was that they were both stained red. Another thing the police knew for sure was that they were in a crime scene, and that whatever happened to Briana was very horrible. There were huge stains on the ground in the alleyway. When the cops saw this scary and, to be honest, unexpected scene, their hearts started to sink. Of course, they didn't want to say it, but after seeing this, they knew it was unlikely that they would find Brain alive. The cops were then led to a spot a block away where they saw a dumpster soon after this was found. It was really close to Briana's house, and it was behind a restaurant. The cops were scared to open this trash can, but they had no choice. When the police opened the skip, they saw a few black plastic bags, but when they poked around a bit, they felt something strange. Some trash bags seemed to give, and something could be seen sticking out of one of them. It looked like carpet or a scarf. The cops saw something terrible when they looked more closely at the strange plastic bags. One of the bags had a dead girl inside it who was probably in her teens and had many cuts on her body. It turned out to be a scarf that was sticking out earlier, and it was found around the girl's neck. Someone tried to hide the girl's body by putting it in plastic bags, but they were clearly in a hurry. The officers were very worried about what they had found. They knew Briana wasn't there because her glasses and hat were found in a strange place behind her house. But even though pieces of the puzzle were starting to fit together, the police still had to publicly identify the body. The worst part is now here. The girl also had a swollen stomach, which was very sad. She was having a baby. This meant that the person who threw this girl in the trash had killed both her and her child. Soon after, the body was sent to be identified, but this was just the proper thing to do because police knew right away that the girl in the body was Briana. Neither she nor her baby had made it through. By this time, the cops had given up their search for Briana, but it was sad. Briana had died, and her baby also did not make it. When the police told Briana's family, they were completely broken. Nicole, Briana's stepmother, was very confused and shocked. Nicole had known Briana since she was 6 years old. Now, Briana was going to be a mom, but she was brutally killed before she could enjoy this moment. What was going on with Briana's family was really hard for them to understand. There was no way to understand it. Briana had been home for hours, so she couldn't have been in a skip now. It felt like a strange fever dream, and nothing made sense. The last thing Briana should have been doing was making plans for college. Instead, her family was planning 2 funerals. Everything was so wrong, but it was true. People in the town were also scared, for good reason, and they were sure that this was done by someone who wanted to hurt them. It wasn't very safe where Briana was meant to meet Aaron. It was dark, and no one knew what had happened in that alley, but everyone knew it as their house. They were all scared. The people in the neighborhood were clearly looking to the police for answers, and they wanted to catch the criminal as soon as possible. For sure, that's what the police planned to do because they had a suspect in mind. But it wasn't just any person. The cops thought that the attack on Brainy was very angry and personal. No doubt about it, it was a crime of passion. Soon, the autopsy results came back. They showed that Briana had been stabbed, and that the person who did it also tried to choke her with the scarf that was around her neck. The attacker may have been someone who knew Briana because of these clues. Luckily for the cops, they already had their sights set on one person. Even though Aaron had already talked to the police, they decided to dig deeper to find out what really happened in that doorway now that Briana's body had been found, and Aaron was likely the last person to see her. People were even more confused when they learned that Aaron Trejo, 16, was being questioned by police about Briana's murder. For one thing, it was strange to see a 16-year-old being questioned about the murder of a young pregnant girl. For another, no one knew that Aaron and Briana were dating in the first place, and they certainly didn't know that Briana was pregnant with Aaron's child. To keep their romance a secret, Briana and Aaron did everything they could. Aaron and Briana have known each other since middle school. They weren't really friends, but they went to the same school and had a lot of the same classes, so they knew each other pretty well. Of course, they saw each other and knew who each other was, but Aaron didn't really try to talk to Briana until they were both in high school and Briana became a manager for the football team. Aaron really liked football. Someone in his family said that he loved this sport more than anything else. His family was also very religious, and he was described as a calm, fun-loving guy. After going to school together for a while, Briana and Aaron became friends, and then quickly became much more. One thing was missing, though. Briana and Aaron's families didn't know that their children were dating. We don't know for sure why Briana and Aaron decided to keep their relationship a secret, but I think they did. Whatever the case, Briana and Aaron's friendship grew quickly, and before you knew it, they were seeing each other. It was July 2018 when Briana got the shocking news. The baby was Aaron's, and she was pregnant. Aaron didn't know that Briana was pregnant, though. Just like her sister, Briana tried to keep the pregnancy a secret from her family. People who knew Aaron and Briana didn't know about them, but Melissa, Briana's mom, quickly figured out what her daughter was up to. It was only a matter of time, right? Bria tried really hard to hide the fact that she was pregnant, but her mom found out when she started to show. Now, Briana was so happy that she didn't want to tell anyone she was pregnant. She was thrilled about having a child so young. She probably took her mom with her to all of her doctor's visits, which is how she found out she was going to have a girl. Briana was really thrilled. The trouble was that she could no longer hide it. Right now, it was very clear that she was pregnant. Aaron still didn't know that Briana was pregnant after 4 or 5 months. So Briana finally got together with Aaron and told him she was pregnant. Aaron didn't like it. Aaron was shocked by this news. He didn't want a kid. He was only 16 years old. Giving him the duty of taking care of a child would have been too much for him. He was mad at Briana because she told him about the secret too late, which made sense. He was very unhappy because he no longer had 9 months to get ready. Instead, he only had 2 or 3 months. He was mad that a baby had shown up in his life at all. But the fact that she was already so far along made things worse, and he had to accept this quickly. What we don't know is how much Briana thought Aaron would be a part of this baby's life. It's possible that they weren't even that serious about their romance since they were trying to keep it a secret. We're not sure if Briana thought Aaron would help with the baby at all, or if she thought he would help raise the child the whole way through. No matter what, Aaron was upset. He was sure he didn't want the baby, and he was mad at Briana for telling him so late. After hearing this, they went their different ways. But Briana had no idea that Aaron was busy making plans. Now that Aaron was at the station talking to police, they finally got him to open up. He told them everything we just talked about, including his secret relationship with Briana, how he found out he was pregnant after 5 months, and how he didn't want anything to do with his own child. There were no words spoken by the cops when Aaron told them everything. Aaron told them that he wanted Briana to have an abortion, but that's obviously not going to happen at this point. The police then asked him what happened after this talk with Briana, and what he told them was very scary. It was true. Aaron had made up his mind. He didn't want the baby and was unhappy with Briana. So Aaron started making plans a week before Briana went missing instead of, talking to his parents and finding out what to do. He did not want Briana or the child to be there. He went to the kitchen and got some black plastic bags and a very sharp knife. All that was left to do was trick Briana into falling into his trap. Briana had no idea that Aaron would respond so badly to what she said. She was taking care of the changes that came with being pregnant while she was at home and at school. She was tired and having trouble getting caught up on her schoolwork, but she was still very happy. Since it was December, she was looking forward to her favorite holiday, Christmas. Aaron, on the other hand, was sure that his brilliant plan would make things easy for him. He thought that within a week there would be no baby, and definitely no Briana. So Aaron texted Briana in the evening of December 8th and told her to meet him behind her house. Aaron got angry with Briana right away when he saw her because she was pregnant. He told her he didn't want the baby and wanted her to get rid of it completely, but it was clear that Briana said no at every turn. Aaron then saw red, so he took out his gun and pointed it at Briana's chest. He hit her over and over until she passed out, and then he wrapped the scarf around her to make sure she wouldn't make it out alive. Everything about this was so incredibly scary. It's a whole different story when you think about the fact that the boy was only 16 years old. Aaron put plastic bags over Briana's body and threw it away in a dumpster that was only a few steps from Briana's house once she stopped fighting. What did Aaron do with his expecting girlfriend's body? He threw it away like it was trash. He also killed his baby daughter at the same time. Aaron left the scene of the horrible murder, but not before taking Briana's phone and the murder weapon. He threw the two things into a nearby lake and then never came back. That a teenager could do something so cruel just because he didn't want his life to change because of choices he had made is hard to believe. When the police heard all of this, they knew they had good reason to be wary of Aaron. Aaron then went on to tell the police, "I did something. I killed her." When the police asked Aaron why he chose that particular weapon, he said it was because he planned to get Briana to die faster. Do I need to tell you that Aaron is only 16? Aaron was charged as an adult with 2 counts of murder, one for Briana and one for Aurora, the baby. Aaron first pleaded not guilty on October 31st, 2019, a little less than a year after killing Briana. He later changed his plea to guilty. He got 65 years in jail in the end, 55 years for killing his girlfriend Briana and 10 years for Aurora. Aaron is likely to be free by the time he is 70 years old. She died on December 17, 2018, and her funeral was held at New Life Baptist Church. She was put to rest with her heartbroken and sad family and friends by her side. There were a lot of plans for Briana's future. She was happy, kind, and strong. It made her so happy to meet her new daughter, and she was ready to accept the changes that life had brought her. Now, though, it was all over in an instant. She did this because the baby's father didn't want it and was mad at her for telling him so late. There was no need for all of this because Aaron and Briana could have easily handled the problem by telling the adults in their lives what was going on. Someone could have given up his rights. The child could have been adopted, or even just taken his things and run away. Anything would have been better than this. Because of what one person did, 2 families lost their daughters and sons. Their lives will never be the same again. The terrible way Briana's parents lost her is still fresh in their minds. Still today, whenever they look at Briana's phone book or texts, they have to remember the terrible event because they know their daughter will never send them another silly message. Thank you for watching this true crime case. Stories like this remind us how fragile life can be. Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Stay safe and I'll see you in the next video.